turn me around. It's something that I just can't understand the way I behave. Some people you can never save. In my right hand, got a girl on my ear, and on my left hand, throwing back a prayer. What can I say? Amiga, see clear.
Hi, my name is Mike. I'm the GM for this Dresden Files RPG that you're about to watch. We set our game in New Orleans in the year 2010. New Orleans because we're all from the Gulf Coast region and we kind of knew a little bit about the city. The year 2010 because it fit with the Dresden Files timeline, and also because it was 5 years after Katrina. Katrina was kind of a rough time for New Orleans, and it gave us a good backdrop for our story. If you don't know much about the Dresden Files RPG, basically it's where magic and monsters collide with the modern day world. It's pretty neat. If you get a chance, check out the books by Jim Butcher. They're a really good read. Anyway, hope you enjoy. Okay, so Volt. You have liberated this warehouse from a bunch of ne'er-do-wells, or people who are in your way anyway. You've gotten things kind of set up.
Well, I want to make sure it's not innocents.
No.
I'm killing. Or
No.
Like someone trying to put
No.
me in a bad
These
light.
are definitely bad dudes.
Okay. All right.
They're either
You're
smuggling
killing
or
people?
they're smuggling or running, probably drugs or something like that. You haven't run into anything supernatural. These are probably low-level, kind of gang operatives or something like that. They're definitely not highly connected. You kind of kick them out of the warehouse district, because the warehouse district at this point is kind of a little rough and edgy in a lot of areas.
That's kind of what I wanted to capitalize on. The
Right.
chaos of the storm.
Right. Well, remember, Storm's been gone for 5 years, but there's a lot of rebuilding going on. It's kind of a difficult time. Yeah, you're able to liberate this warehouse and kick the gang members out, or off them to the point where they're not going to be a problem anymore. You have moved in, ordered some furniture, set up kind of in where the office would be of the warehouse. It would have been where, the people who were, taking care of everything. And you've set that up as kind of your bedroom / apartment area.
Can it be like on the second level?
Yeah, second floor, absolutely. Kind of in the area. There's a set of stairs outside that runs up there, and then there's a big metal door. You probably have curtains over the window so people can't see in, and there's kind of, you put in a little kitchenette. It's maybe got a microwave. Air fryers aren't around yet. The microwave, maybe a little flat top stove, something like that. So it's very, very simple, but it's definitely kind of homey. And you're thinking, I've got lots of room to expand as I liberate more and more items and put them into my hoard. Terrence Jackson has probably been, you've killed him he's been dead for about a week.
Okay.
One night you're laying in your bed, you're probably reading a book, maybe writing down notes of what you're planning to do the next day. And you get the distinctive feeling that you're being watched. What do you want to do?
I guess I want to casually look around without giving away that I'm looking for someone looking for me. You know what I mean?
Are you reading a book, reading the newspaper? What are you doing?
Yeah, reading a book's fine. I think reading a book will be good.
Okay, so you're laying back in your bed, you've got your book there, and you're kind of looking. You kind of look over the top of your book, and you notice standing by your little microwave on the counter there is Terrence. Young black man, kind of handsome. He's dressed in what looks like a, kind of a khakis and a nice button-down shirt, and he's standing there looking at you. Okay, you're a little unnerved because this guy he's gone. I mean, you made sure he's gone. Looking at him, going, "What's going on here? What do you do? Anything?"
I'm gonna fold the book, and I'm gonna say, "Do I have to put you down a second time?"
He does not move. He just eyes staring at you. You notice his eyes are almost kind of glowing a white, kind of foggy glow. It's really, really disturbing.
Can I make like a lore check to see if I recognize, or is that how that works? Like
You could.
If he's like a shade or a zombie. Or
Right.
something?
So you got your dice.
I do not.
Uh-oh.
Where are the dice?
I don't know.
We threw some in here.
Did I take them back?
I think you did.
Oh, wait. Check in the little thing right there. You got it, Trevor. Right there. I believe the dice are in there. Ha ha.
All the dice.
Yes, all the dice. I put them in there so they wouldn't get lost. What color were you using?
Gold.
I was
Gold.
using
Of
my
course
die.
you were.
Because
You're a dragon.
I'm a
That's
dragon. I thought
right.
you meant-
Gold dice for a dragon, of course.
Yeah, I think I was using gold, right? I didn't steal
Were
it.
you-
No, you're right.
Silver.
You're right. That was gold dragon. Yeah.
Okay, so I roll 4.
Yeah. Always roll 4 dice.
I think so.
What'd you get?
Okay, so I've got 2 pluses, 1 minus, and a nil.
So you have a
My
plus
lore
1
skill is
overall.
+1.
Okay, so
Roller.
plus 2. You're pretty sure he's some kind of ghost. Other than that, you're not really sure.
Where did I kill Terrence?
I don't know. You tell me.
Okay. Well, I didn't kill him in the warehouse. Yeah.
No, probably not. Well, it's up to you. Up to you.
No, I did not.
Okay.
I just want to make sure
No,
unless
that's
that is what you wanted.
Right,
to
right. No,
have
that's
happen. And he doesn't say anything.
No. Where did you kill him? Let's get some backstory on where you killed Terrence.
I guess so. He was doing criminal activities or something like that.
You were told that he was involved in some criminal activities, given a place to take him out, and so you got into your. How did you take him out?
We'll
I know
say
you
he
took
was at
lightning,
one
right?
of the local bars.
Okay,
I guess near the warehouse district.
sure.
area.
There's lots of them. Yeah.
And I'd been stalking him for a while along the rooftops. And
Okay.
one night when I saw that he was very well inebriated, he went down the wrong alley, and I was there, and
Maybe he went out to take a leak or something like that, and you got him. Okay.
and that's when I shot him from the rooftop with lightning.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. All right. So, and then they found him on the street the next day, and
Yeah.
of course, right. All right. So, you do notice that there's a burn hole in his chest, very much like you had killed him, but he doesn't say anything. He just stands there staring at you. It's going to be
Ice cancel out, but I have a +4 fists.
okay. I rolled -1, so
Okay.
you take a swing at him. Your hand goes right through him, and you notice he kind of his form kind of mistily dissipates around your hand, and then promptly reforms when you pull your hand back. So you're not able to touch him. Maybe he's not able to touch you. You're not sure.
Okay.
Does lead you to believe that maybe he can't touch you.
Okay. Well, is he still looking at me?
Yeah, he's just you take a swing at him. He kind of, and then as you pull your hand back, he reforms, and you notice he's staring straight into your eyes. It's really disconcerting because you're close enough to take a swing at him, but he has not moved at all. He's just standing by your microwave, staring straight into your eyes.
Okay. What time of day is it?
You'd gone to bed for the night, so it's probably
there's
about
not.
10 or 11.
So no
somewhere.
voodoo shop's gonna be able to help me.
No, probably not.
You should turn on the microwave, see if it messes with it.
Static out. Ah, you got my weakness, microwaves.
Alright, well, I'm gonna point to him and be like, "Don't be here when I get back. You won't like it." And I'm gonna grab my coat. And...
Okay. As you go out the door, it's funny. As you walk by him, he turns to look at you until you go out the door, and then of course, you're not sure. Where are you headed?
I guess I'm going to. I want to head to a bar where I know that other things, like a supernatural bar.
Ooh, there aren't really any supernatural bars.
Well, just places where
around.
supernatural things hang out.
Again,
Not
not,
really a
so
thing?
much.
Okay.
You know that Jackson Square is where a lot of the minor talent wizards and sorcerers and stuff like that hang out. They're doing tarot readings and stuff like that. Some of the artists there have magical talent that allows them to be really good. But as far as like places where you could just hang out with other magical people, you really don't know of anywhere.
But I know any local cemeteries.
Oh yeah. There's lots of cemeteries in
Has
New Orleans.
his funeral happened yet? Or is
No,
it still,
it is
'cause
not.
it's only been a week, right?
It's
You said,
his
10
funeral's
days?
about 3 days away, actually. Well, you probably knowing how your character is, you probably would have kept up with the fact that he's not going to be buried for another 3 days. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Then the morgue's probably not going to be open.
You could go to the bar and get royally drunk and pass out.
Probably not that.
No. Okay.
I don't think Vault would do that.
Yeah, that's
is what I
probably
think.
true. You're probably true.
I am gonna go have, I guess, some. I I'll go to a bar and have a few whiskeys, though.
Okay. You're able to find a little place called the Rum House. It's still open till about midnight. Okay. So they don't have a whole lot of whiskeys, but they do have some rums, and they're very nice rums. Okay. They have tacos to eat, some other good food. So you decide to hang out there for a couple hours. All right. Let me cut back.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, because there's no guilt with the kill. Okay. It's just he's more annoyed and like, how do I get rid of this mess?
Yeah. You're not gonna be able to sleep there very easily while he's staring at you. Yeah, some guy staring at you. Yeah. Jody, it's been about a week since Terrence Jackson was killed. You've been to see his mom. His funeral is in 3 days, and that you have kind of spoken to his mom. Again. His mom is pretty upset that Terrence died. Mm-hmm. He had kind of gotten out of the Ninth Ward, was working for Morgan Stanley as an analyst, and that she's really upset because he was going to make something of himself. He was kind of the first of the family to really go somewhere. He had made some connections uptown, and she's just pretty devastated about the fact that Terrence is dead. Yeah. What are you going to do?
Am I at her house?
You've spoken to her. You're kind of upset that your friend died.
Okay, well, I'm gonna, I guess I'll go visit her and see if she has any details about his death, unless I've already been given details by somebody.
Going back to the old neighborhood kind of brings back a lot of nostalgia and also a lot of bad memories. This is a neighborhood, the Ninth Ward, that's been pretty devastated by Katrina. A lot of it's been flooded. A lot of it has not been rebuilt. The money from the government has been kind of slow getting there, and when it does get there, it seems like everybody in New Orleans has to take their piece, and then eventually, what was $12 million trickles down into the Ninth Ward as $100,000, and nobody gets much of anything. But you walk through the old neighborhood where you grew up. Of course, nobody lives in your old house anymore. Your sister's moved away. Your parents have moved on to. You're living in a different area, and so a couple doors down from the house where you grew up is a little shotgun house. It's blue, and you recognize it as Terrence's. You're gonna go. What are you gonna do?
Well, is it Terrence's house or his mom's?
I'm sorry,
house?
His mom's house. I apologize.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go knock on the door and call out.
Okay.
Hey, Miss Clara, it's Dela. Hey, Miss Clara, it's Dela. Are you there?
Knock on the door. Takes probably a couple minutes where you hear somebody coming towards the door, and sure enough, the door, you can kind of see through the screen that it's Miss Clara. It's Terrence's mom. And she comes walking up. You can tell she's probably been crying. Her eyes are kind of red. And she says, "What do you want?"
Hi, I heard about Terrence, and I just hate it. You know how close Terrence and I were, and I was wondering if you could give me any details so I can maybe see if I can find out something to help.
And she looks at you and says, "Are you the police?"
Don't you remember me? I'm Dela. I grew up with Terrence.
You're not police, are you?
No.
I've already told the police everything I plan to tell anybody. Terrence was a good boy. He had gotten out of the Ninth Ward. He was working for Morgan Stanley. He was making money. He was sending me money when he could. He was a good boy. I tell you what, some of the rich city slicker snobs probably the ones who did him in. He probably knew something about them, or maybe he found out that they were doing something shady with their money, and that's probably why they went after him. They're no good. No good.
I agree. I know, Miss Clara. All right. Well, I'll go see if I can talk to the police and find out something for you. Do you want me to let you know if I find anything different? Doesn't matter. She just
kind of shrugs, and then all of a sudden she kind of looks straight at you, and she kind of walks up close to the screen, and she's the screen door is still between you and her, and she says, "I want you to find out who killed Terrence, and I want you to get the son of a bitch. Find out who did this to my boy."
I'm only laughing because I know who it is.
Yeah. And so
I can see the fate point.
Yeah. And so she's like, "I want you to get the son of a bitch." And you're like,
"I will, Miss Clara. Count on it."
Well, and if you're not the police, then I don't see any reason that we need to involve them.
Gotcha.
Okay. So, what are you gonna do?
Get that son of a bitch.
Exactly.
You're
I'm
like-
not going to use those words.
I
got my marching orders.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, what time is it?
It's probably noonish, maybe mid-afternoon, something along those lines. It's quiet out. There's not a whole lot going on. Again, like I said, there's not a whole lot of rebuilding going on in the Ninth Ward. You see a lot of people out on the streets. Most of them are not people that you know.
Okay. Now, I'm going to, in my aspects, I wrote down that I already knew who was responsible for the misinformation.
Okay.
But obviously, I don't know. So I think what I'm going to do is...
You already know who's responsible for the misinformation? You
well,
know,
or at least I think...
No, I got you. You know it was definitely a member of the group that trained
The
you.
Devonais.
Yeah, the Devonais. Somebody basically tipped your sister off that something shady was going on when it wasn't, and got Terrence killed. Terrence wasn't involved in anything shady. He was just an analyst who did stock market investments. That's all he did. Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm going to go... First, I'm going to go back to my house.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I'm going to pull out my Devonais binder.
Mm-hmm.
And
You don't have a binder on the Devonais.
I probably have a binder of names of people I know who are Devonais.
You wouldn't write that down.
I wouldn't write it down?
Probably
How am I
not.
going to remember this?
They're-
I can't use a computer.
They're a secret society. They wouldn't want you keeping any records. Now, if you keep records, that's up to you, but realize they're not going to be real happy about that if anybody ever finds out. Just a thought.
What if I use fake names? They'll never know.
Up to you. You
Yeah,
can
like
use
a
a cipher and a code and
There you
whatever
go.
you want to do, but just realize this is a secret society of the upper crust of New Orleans. So the Devonais are not going to want their names being listed somewhere where, if somebody finds your book, they go, oh, that's all the members of the Devonais, and look what they can do.
Well,
Yeah.
fine. I'm gonna make myself a little cipher and code because I think they're involved.
Right, okay. You can do
They
that.
wouldn't have their little cipher and code if they weren't involved. So
Well,
I'm gonna
could
think
be.
back to all. So I'm going to assume my sister's already called me and tipped me off, and I'm going to sit down and write out
Wait.
my
Your
binder.
sister's already called you and tipped you off. No.
What are you talking about?
Your sister did not call you and tip you off.
Well, and how did I know?
How did you know that someone had tipped that the
How did I
Devonais?
know that the Devonais gave the bad intel?
Well, interestingly enough, the leader of the Devonais, Bella St. Clair, had sent you a letter, probably the best way to put it, that explained that basically what the letter said was that your friend has died. My condolences. I would like to offer you any assistance I can. Just understand that things may not be as they seem to be. Your sister is a pawn in a larger game.
It just said death of my friend.
The death of your friend, yes. You've only had one death of your friend in recent times, thank goodness. So you're pretty sure it's talking about Terrence. Pretty sure.
And my sister is being used.
She's a pawn, yeah.
An unknowing pawn.
Not what it said, just a pawn.
Okay.
Nope.
All right.
You cannot get the GM to give you more information than you hoped for. So,
All right. So I hear this, and I'm gonna think to myself, okay, how does Bella St. Clair know about my sister's death? So I'm gonna go to the police station. Well, I'm not gonna go to the police station. I'm gonna use my contacts, and
you can go to the nearest police station near where he was found.
no, I'm gonna use the contacts.
Okay.
For contacts, I'm gonna use my police connections.
Okay. To
So
do
if
what?
I've been the warden for a year or so,
Wardens don't work with police.
really?
Wardens are white council. That's magic. It's police
Well, did
magic.
did I grow up with any police who are
You
not
have contacts.
policemen?
You can still use contacts.
Okay, I'm gonna
That's
use my
fine.
contacts to get some popo information.
Okay. That's what you get.
Well,
What's your
what's your
contacts
contacts?
level?
My contact level is 3.
And what'd you
I
roll?
got 3 minuses.
Wow. So that gives you a 0.
They hate you. No.
Now, what? So, are you trying to find out if any police know anything?
That's because every time they get near me to call somebody, the phone dies.
Right?
Step away.
No, it
from
doesn't.
The
No,
cruiser.
we're talking about Nokia phones. This is 2005. There's
yeah,
Nokia.
just
Actually, those are iPhones,
I'm
probably.
kidding.
2010 is iPhones.
right.
So, well, what exactly were you doing? Were you trying to find some? Were you going to the local precinct to talk to some of the police down there?
Yeah, then I guess since my contacts aren't working, I'm going to go to the
Hold
local
on.
precinct.
You go down to the local precinct to see if anybody knows anything about Terrence's murder, and it's very odd. Everybody clams up. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody's going to give you any files. Nobody's going to let you into the morgue. Nobody is offering you any assistance at all. Now, you know several policemen who kind of you're on a good terms with, and you can't seem to find them. And definitely the run-of-the-mill, cops that you're running into are just, they're shutting you down. Which is a little odd. Kind of strange.
Okay, so... So when you go to precinct, am I just at the first window?
Yeah, pretty much. They're
or
not letting
am
you
I
in front
able
of
to
the
get in
No.
any further than that?
With a 0, you can't get any further than the front window. Yeah, you're out in the lobby. The person behind the reception desk is like, yeah, no. Yeah, see that buzzer, the button that I need to push the buzzer and let you in? I'm not doing that. You're out here. With the people who are trying to get, their babies out of, the drunk tank and stuff like that.
Haven't been around here. Do I know where...
Fuego!
Yeah. Do I know where the police tend to go to hang out and drink?
Do you have a... what do you know about the city?
Annie's.
This is true.
We're talking about
They're
New
all-
Orleans. It's New Orleans.
Probably would be something along the lines
That was
of
good.
rapport.
I don't have a report.
Well, you do at +0. What else do you have?
I have discipline, lore, conviction, endurance, weapons, contacts, resources, presence, investigation, guns, alert.
Investigation. Investigation's a good one. Okay. What's your
Please.
investigation at +1?
My investigation is at +2, so I rolled a +1, so
Yeah, you've heard of this place. It's called the 422.
the 422.
It's a cop bar that basically is right off of Lee Circle. At this point, you remember that the statue of General Lee is still up in the middle of Lee Circle. But it's this little bar that's kind of off there where most of the cops go to hang out. It's called the 422. Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna go there.
Hold on. Let me cut away for just a second. All right.
Okay.
So, Larissa, your character's name is Miranda, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have been kind of working the streets around probably Canal Street and St. Charles to try and get people to stop some of the things they're doing and maybe coming out of the cold. You probably have a good connection with the St. Louis Cathedral, probably a lot of the homeless shelters, most of the people there. You've got a bit of a reputation on the street as no-nonsense preacher. People start trying to tell you things like, oh, Satan, he just gets to me and gets me to do terrible things. You're the kind of person who looks at them and says, look, you need to quit blaming Satan for your stuff. You need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and quit just, making excuses. But in a loving way. So, you have heard that there's been an increase in the number of murders and actually home invasions in the last month or so in New Orleans. It's almost gotten to the point where a lot of the people who had kind of hung around through Katrina and through the rebuilding have started to consider moving out of town. I mean, it's gotten bad. You're kind of going, well, what's going on here? This is, we're trying to rebuild this city, not tear it apart. Right. And so you're a little concerned because you've noticed that the homeless on the street have gotten a little more desperate. Instead of asking someone for some money or a sandwich or something like that, they tend to kind of get up in their faces a little more now. And so the tourists are kind of like, whoa, I don't want this guy in my face. I'll give you $1. If you get up like that, I'm gonna call the police. Things have gotten a little, heated in the French Quarter especially, but even more moving through the Garden District. You're a little concerned by what you're hearing, especially since these are the people you're trying to kind of tend to and be the shepherd of. What are your thoughts?
Probably thinking, have a tendency to believe that, in cause and effect. So I'm trying to think of I know that people who are desperate are not just desperate for no reason.
Right.
And, there's usually some sort of economic or other factor that could be putting pressure on people.
Right.
So I am curious, wondering if this is, a drug hitting the street or something else like weirder.
Okay, could be.
You
want to go maybe check some of your contacts?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Or somebody that you really don't, you need to use contacts to find most of the homeless people. They're all over the place.
Right.
Jackson Square has a very large concentration of them, and actually Canal Street has a very large concentration north of I-10. So you can probably find them pretty easily.
Okay.
What do you want to do?
I want to take some little care packages that I put together for homeless people and go check some of those areas and just try to talk and see if any information is forthcoming.
Gotcha. Underneath I-10, that there's kind of a tent city that's sprung up where a lot of people live, not just homeless people, but even people who, are kind of out down on their luck and things like that. Some of the prostitutes live in that area too. You head underneath the overpass and you see just tents all over. It used to be a parking lot, just all over the place, and nobody's really moved to reclaim it. There's a kind of a guy sitting underneath next to one of the pylons that holds up the raised road, and he's kind of sitting there. He's panhandling. You walk towards him, and he recognizes you, and he says, "Hey, you got $1?"
I got something better than $1. And I'll reach into my backpack that I carry around with me, and I will pull out a little Ziploc care bag with some toiletries and different things in there, and some granola bars and some food.
He looks at your Ziploc bag and he goes, "I can't get a rock with that. What do I need with that?"
What do you need with a rock?
It makes it a whole lot easier to live in this damn city.
Look, I understand relying on things like that for distraction, especially when you're in a situation like this.
Are you going to preach at me again?
Do I know this guy's name?
Probably his name is Albert. Yeah.
Albert. Listen now. I'm not here to preach at you today, and I'll give him $1 and I'll be like, I want you to think about making a different choice with that today. Just want you to think about it.
I'll think about it. He takes the $1 and pockets it. You notice that this guy, he's got these crazy dreads, and he's white. He's got dreadlocks that they look really nappy. The smell off this guy is just it smells like BO and alcohol and maybe some other stuff that you really don't want to think about. Vomit and some other bodily fluids too. And you've worked with Albert for probably, several years. You've kind of seen him around. Albert normally doesn't smell this bad. He's looking kind of rough. He's kind of was always proud to be one of the first white guys with dreadlocks in New Orleans. And these are natty and just got stuff all in them. And you're just kind of like, wow, this guy's he's looking bad. And especially, he does pot. Every once in a while he'll, maybe do something a little harder. He drinks a bit. But when he's talking about, doing, rocks and stuff like that, that's a step up from what he was doing.
Right.
Crack is kind of a little above what he normally works on. So you're kind of like, this is interesting.
I'm going to sit down next to him, kind of crisscross applesauce
He slides away from you about 6 inches so he's not touching you.
I'll be like, oh, it's me that's repulsive. Okay, I get it, I understand. Listen, buddy, I thought we were on the up and up. Now you're talking about buying rocks and...
Give me a rapport roll. Give me a rapport roll. It's a good time to use rapport.
It's a canceled roll.
You can be even.
Where is my rapport at?
I
have
your
great
skills.
rapport. It's +4.
Ooh, nice.
Nice.
He looks at you and he says, "Look, times are hard." He says, the police are always trying to shove us out of here, and we got to be scarce. And then they move out and we move back in, and there's drugs and there's violence. And man, somebody stole my tent 2 nights ago, and now I am outdoors. And at least I got my sleeping bag so I'm not cold. And these girls are working the area down here, and one of the whores got killed 3 nights ago. You hadn't heard about that.
Yeah.
And man, it's tough. It's hard down here. You just don't understand staying in your apartment up there. You don't understand how hard it is down here.
I'm sorry. I didn't know about that. I didn't hear about the.
He says, and it seems like it's getting worse. And for a moment, you notice his kind of eyes just kind of clear up, and he looks at you, and his eyes are kind of liquidy and wet, and he says, "It's getting worse. And I don't know why. It didn't used to be like this. When I first came to New Orleans, and started, panhandling, it was all right. You could make a living at it, and you could be all right." He says, "But there's something dark going on. You heard about the Devil Man?"
No.
The Devil Man. He shows up. He's got this big wooden stick, and he's got horns like the devil, and he's all in black. And when he shows up, your number's up, because nobody gets away from the Devil Man. Well, Devil Man's been around for a long time. He says, but he's coming to the French Quarter in the Garden District, and he's picking people off. It's bad. It's bad. He hadn't come up to I-10 yet, but the Devil Man, he's out there, and it's bad. It's really bad. And so we keep somebody on watch, as long as they're not stoned, watching for the Devil Man. And he hadn't made it this way yet, but look, old John, who played the 1-string guitar, he was down in Jackson Square and was kind of squatting in the air near Pirates Alley, and he was dead one day. And I think Devil Man gets like one, maybe 2 people a week. It's bad. It's bad.
Hal, I'm sorry, but listen, I'm gonna work on getting you a new tent.
Okay.
When I come back, I'll bring that to you, okay?
Okay.
Think about what I said.
Yeah.
Think about what I said,
All right. I'll think about it.
Life is hard, but we cannot make it harder for ourselves,
You're right. We got to stick together. That's what we do underneath the bridge. We
and you'll
stick
let
together.
me know if you see the Devil Man.
I'll let you know.
Yeah.
You live up over that pawn shop. Just know.
Yeah,
Okay.
on
All right.
Belmont
I'll let
Place.
you know if I see the Devil Man. I'll send somebody to come get you.
Please do.
All right.
I'm looking out for you, man.
All right. All right. Trevor,
Me.
your guy lives.
I figured, kind of like a little shotgun house kind of thing.
Okay. Trevor, you're working on a couple new potions.
Mm-hmm.
Got your ritual area set up kind of in the back. It's a little empty bedroom kind of between the kitchen and the living room. Working on a couple new potions. Things are going pretty well. You think things are going pretty well.
Mm.
You're getting ready to make this next potion, and this weird coldness settles over you. It's really strange. You've made these potions many times before. Mm-hmm. This doesn't normally happen. But something weird and strange and cold kind of sets your neck hairs up on edge, and you're like, what's going on? This is not right. Potions finish. Everything does what it's supposed to, but you're kind of like, this is strange. What's going on here? Check your toolbox, your utility belt. Everything's good.
Everything's fine. I want to go check my thermostat.
Thermostat is where it should be. It shouldn't have gotten cold inadvertently, so you're kind of like,
That's weird.
Yeah, it's not normal. Makes you a little concerned about whether the potions will work.
Yeah, that is concerning.
Yeah.
Is there a roll that I can make to maybe have an idea of what this sensation might have been?
We'll check. Yeah,
or I'm good with lore.
Okay.
Lore's good.
Go with lore.
All right.
Wow, that was
So
not
that's
so
still
good.
a positive 2.
Okay. Normally cold spots and stuff like that are associated with things from ghosts, the Never Never, which is the alternate reality on the other side of the veil. So yeah, you're thinking ghosts or something along those lines, which is weird. Now, you don't know a whole lot about this little shotgun house. How long have you had it?
I imagine probably less than a year.
Okay, so maybe there's some stuff going on with this house that you don't know about. But you're not sure. You're really not sure. Cold spots, ghosts, something like that, supernatural manifestations, you're a little concerned.
I see.
And you've made potions in this house before and haven't had this issue, but it's definitely, kind of put a chill on your spine. Yeah.
Well, I'm reluctant to move my ritual spot.
No, you don't
That's
want to do
my
that.
spot.
Yeah, that's your spot. Well, and once you set it up with, kind of a circle to prepare it, you have to unbolt
there.
everything and move. It's not a good thing.
I wonder if I can find out more information about the house then.
You could probably go down to the courthouse and maybe look into some of the information, maybe do some research there, maybe one of the local libraries for the newspapers or something along those lines. That's probably the best way to do it.
I'll try to go to the library then.
Okay. You head down to the New Orleans Library. It's a huge library. Big granite building, lots of stuff like that. You walk in the front door, up a couple, 2 or 3 steps to this huge desk where there's 2 or 3 people standing there. Most of them are, one of them is an elderly gentleman, gray-haired, and then there's 2 ladies, one of them who's young, kind of got brown hair, and another woman who is, again, kind of graying hair up there. All of them wearing glasses because they're readers. There you go.
Fair enough. The lady with the graying hair, I'd like to approach her. And I'd like to ask, do you have any news articles or any information about buildings in this certain area?
You tell her where you live. She says, yes. Are you looking for survey documents, or are you looking for maybe newspaper articles? Or
both, actually. That would probably be useful.
Survey documents will be in the courthouse, but I can definitely pull up some newspaper articles. She says, if you follow me, I'll show you where the computer is that's cross-referenced by, keyword, follow me.
Okay.
So she heads down this hallway, and you see books, people reading books, tables. And so you're walking down there and following her, and she's kind of hunched over. And she says, so, why are you so interested in the houses in that area?
Well, I recently purchased a house over there. Well, I mean, I say recently. It's been about a year, but, it's just one of those things, everything around here has got some kind of history to it. I was wondering what this place had.
Oh, you're right. New Orleans is all about stories and information and, what's been going on in different places. I expect you got a pretty good deal on that house because, a lot of people have moved out of the city recently. It's hard to live here now. She says, oh, here we are. And she turns and there's this little computer and she hits the button and it's a one-piece computer, kind of tan with green letters on the screen. It's old. You're thinking, oh my goodness, you didn't even know those really worked anymore. And she says,
those are still around.
Yeah, right. And so beep, it blips, and the green letters come up, and it says inventory system for newspapers. And she says, all right, all you have to do is type in a keyword, and it will tell you the date for the article that matches that keyword. Now, once you type in one keyword, you can then take that list and type in a second keyword to become more specific about the information you're looking for.
Okay.
It's just, and once you get to the point where you understand what newspaper you're looking for, that young man over there, and she points at this little desk, and this guy's got file cabinets behind him that look like they go on forever. He's got the microfiche system, and he'll hand you the plastic card that goes in the machine there. And if you need any help with the microfiche system, you let him know. He'll help you show you how the card, the little plastic card goes in there, and you're like, it's not computerized? Oh my. So, yeah. And she says, well, good luck. And she totters on down the hallway back towards the front desk.
It's like where you have that moment where it's like, oh, this is becoming a lot more effort than I was bargaining for.
You're kind of like, wow, I definitely don't think I'm going to blow this system out with my magical ability. Yeah, because it looks like it was probably started in the 1800s. Yeah,
With that, though, if it's a keyword, can I just put in the address?
You can try.
All right, then I'll try to put in the address.
Okay, you put in the address. And 2 listings come up. And it says one of them is for 3 years ago and one of them is for 20 years ago. They're two different microfiche, of course.
I don't want to look at both of them, honestly. All right.
You gonna go talk to the young man?
Yeah, I'd like to go talk.
Young man's name is Brent. He's a good-looking guy. Probably looks like he's about 19. Probably a college student. This is maybe one of the things he's doing to kind of make a little extra money. You walk up to him and he says, "Hi. What can I do for you?"
Yes, I used a computer there just a moment ago, and it pulled up 2 articles I would like to look at.
Okay. You give him the number. He goes over to the file cabinet. First one, he says, "Oh, that's easy. That was 3 years ago. I've got the microfiche for you. Do you know how to use the microfiche reader?" You probably do. It's fine. You're a techie kind of guy. Well, you're kind of he hands you that one. And it's in this little paper thing that you're going to put in. And he says, "Okay, oh, that's kind of old. 40 years ago. But hopefully that's on microfiche. We'll see." He kind of walks around the corner and he comes back and he has this kind of weird look on his face. He says, "Huh?
What shows up from?
It was on microfiche, but it's missing."
Missing?
Yeah, that's kind of, I guess whoever read it last, maybe it's been misplaced. I mean, all these file cabinets is not surprising. That things get
I understand. It's a lot of actual inventory.
Yeah, so I don't know. Kind of weird. But here's the one you asked for, at least one of them. So
Thank you, though.
Yeah. All right. Let me jump to Chuck real quick because we are at 9:52 and I want to stop pretty quick. Chuck, what you are in? Where did you live exactly?
Shotgun House in the Miranda.
Okay. That's right. The little artist commune. You're kind of hanging out with a bunch of the guys from the commune. There's several people who are artists who paint. So there's a sculptor. She's kind of a hot redhead. And then there's several musicians who like to get together periodically and jam. They get out under this big oak tree. There's a kind of a gazebo with some places to sit, and a lot of them will get out there. And it's kind of funny because you guys kind of all get together as a group in this house, and somebody starts playing along, and somebody will come out and maybe be singing, or maybe they'll bring some tamales out or tacos, or sometimes it's boudin balls, and everybody just kind of hangs out. It's a commune. Everybody kind of shares. It's very but it's cool. It's groovy. It's you're a jazz musician. It's fun. You've just headed out there for it's a Friday night, same night these guys are on, by the way. The funeral for Terrence is on Monday. It's a Friday night. You've headed out there. You're kind of warming up because you've got a couple sets to do in the city near Frenchman Street. So you're warming up. Everybody's kind of tuning up. They're all getting ready to head their separate ways to their different bands and things like that. It's going pretty well. You're playing. You're managing to make sure that you don't blow anybody off there or blow the gazebo apart, which you're very happy with. So things are going pretty well. And you finish your set, and one of the guys they know as One-Eyed Tom. He has both eyes. Nobody knows where One-Eyed Tom came from. There's a story somewhere, but he's got both eyes. It's One-Eyed Tom. Why does he have? He has 2 eyes. Why do we call him One-Eyed Tom? You'll have to ask Tom about that. I don't know. But anyway, he says, "Well, look, I've got a set that I'm going to have to do for the next 3 hours over at a couple of bars, and so look, I'm going to head out." And so people start to kind of just dissipate out into the city. You've got a set in about another hour, and you're sitting there. This really nice lady named Rosa has come out and brought a bunch of food. She's got rice. She's Hispanic. She's got rice and some beans. She didn't bring any tamales this time because she makes really good tamales. But they had some tacos from this guy named Kurt who had brought some tacos down. He's not Hispanic, but he makes good tacos. And you kind of had a chance to eat. And she kind of looks at you and she says, You have a fire that surrounds you. Yeah, you're kind of looking around, and she says, "No, it's not a fire. It's an electricity that is attached to your soul." An electricity, yes. It is it's like dark lightning. Do you know someone who is like dark lightning? He's attached to your soul.
Attached to my soul.
I didn't know we're that intimate.
Do you have any more information? I mean, can you tell me more?
No, I see it in you. My grandmother had the sight, and it hasn't been there long, but because she's been here probably as long as you have, and she says, you have a dark lightning attached to your soul. This lightning, it is pulling you. And when she says that, there's this weird sensation in your gut that pulls you towards it's kind of St. Charles and Magazine Street in that direction out to the Garden District, and you're thinking, look, I got to set in about an hour towards the French Quarter. I don't have time for this mess. But it's almost like when she says that, it's like your whole intestine just kind of lurch, and you're like, and whoa, that's weird. And she says, or maybe not. Well, I better get this cleaned up. And so she starts picking up all the rice and the beans and putting in the containers.
And he has to
That's the beans. That's what it is. That's when it's black beans will do that to you.
Movement.
And she says, "Well, I wish you good luck tonight. I think you will need it." And so then and it's weird because as she's saying these things, you notice her eyes are blue. And then when she turns away from you and starts putting the rice and beans up, her eyes are brown. And you're kind of like, what just happened here? This is weird. So she's packing up the rice and the beans in the Tupperware containers. And she says, oh, did you like the rice and beans? And it's almost like her whole demeanor has changed. It's making me want to go that way.
They were they were great. Thanks. Thanks for bringing them out. And...
I'll try and make tamales next time.
Oh,
I think
please
you'll like
do,
them.
please
Oh,
do.
good. Cool.
We love them so much.
Okay. And so she packs up her stuff and starts heading back towards her, little apartment. And you're kind of like, that's really weird. Does she maybe have, multiple personalities or something like that? But that doesn't really make eyes turn blue. So you're a little freaked out by this, okay? Understandable, yeah.
Time for
What do
a
you think?
shot before you sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I'm just kidding.
Right.
Well, I want to I guess get my stuff together and try to go to my gig.
Okay.
And see.
You head out the front door, and you're do you have a car, a bicycle, moped, catching the bus?
Wow.
Let's see. Probably catching a taxi.
Okay. You hail a taxi. Taxi stops. You get in, the guy goes, "Look, bub, I got to tell you right now, where you headed?"
I'm heading down to where's my gig?
Well, okay, look, I can take you down there, but there's some kind of big deal at the corner of St. Charles and Canal. Some kind of big accident that's happened there, so I'm gonna have to take some alternate routes. I'm just letting you know. I'm not trying to scam you or anything. I know you're local, but I'm gonna have to, look, I'm gonna have to kind of drive around a little bit, see if we can get by this.
No. All right, let's see.
All right, here we go. So he takes off in his taxi. You sit in the back seat. You got your trombone, and he kind of drives down St. Charles to Lee Circle, and round the roundabout, and then he goes, this is what I was afraid of, and here we go. And so you notice that the sides of Lee Circle, and there's about 2 exits from Lee Circle that head out towards the French Quarter, are both blocked off, and there's police cars there and stuff like that, and some fire trucks and stuff like that. And he goes, look, let me see if I can find another way around. So he kind of heads out the northwestern part of Lee Circle, and he says, I'm pretty sure I can find my way around here. So he kind of goes and drives a little bit. He takes a right and heading towards Canal Street, and he goes a little further along, and he goes, Jesus wept. Look at that. They got this area blocked off too. And so sure enough, there's blue lights ahead of you, and he says, look, I'm going to have to let you out here. You're going to have to walk the rest of the way. I said, I'm sorry. Look, it's going to be $5.25.
I'll give the man his money.
Okay, he says, look, no tip. I'm sorry, man. I couldn't even get you where I was trying to get you to.
Yeah.
You probably got go about maybe another 7 or 8 blocks. So you hop out of the car, and immediately that same gut-wrenching feeling grabs you. And I'm going to need you to make a discipline check.
Imagine walking around.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a pretty good roll.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's your discipline?
5.
Ooh, you have good discipline.
Yeah.
Nice.
You feel this gut-wrenching feeling kind of trying to drag you back towards the Garden District, but you're able to fight it off and say, no, I got a gig down here. It's a constant tug pulling you back towards the Garden District. You finally get to the little place called St. Anne's. It's a little kind of it's a restaurant that has kind of Dixieland jazz. You're able to get in there. It's about 30 minutes before your gig. You get kind of tuned up with the rest of the band and are able to go up on stage. But again, the entire time you're playing, you feel this constant pull towards the Garden District. 3 hours seems like 3 years because, again, it's constantly pulling at you. And you finish your set, it's around midnight, band's getting ready to shut down for the evening. And you're just kind of like, man, I really kind of think I want to find out what's going on with this thing. It's very disconcerting. It's definitely affected your playing, but not enough that people would really notice. What do you want?
Catch a cab, try to head down Garden District.
Hey, perhaps you've got a few questions about this first episode that you just watched. Maybe you're wondering why Volt keeps talking about breathing lightning when he killed Terrence. What kind of creature is Volt? He seems to be different than a normal human. Well, the answer is he's a half-dragon. In the Dresden Files universe, there's only really 2 dragons that we know of that are still around, Farabax and Pyrovax. And Volt is the son of Farabax. Maybe Farabax had a dalliance with a human, a mortal, and so that's who Volt is. We don't know a whole lot about dragons in the Dresden verse, but stay tuned. Maybe we'll learn more.